Welcome back to Ston Talk. Today I have with me Ricardo. Ricardo, I came across something interesting this week. Ston.fi published an article about something called predict-with-polymarket, and at first glance I thought it was just another integration announcement, but the more I read, the more I felt like there was a bigger story here.
I had the exact same reaction, because when people hear prediction markets, they immediately focus on the prediction part. But the interesting thing here is actually how ton users are getting access to it.
Let's start from the beginning then. For someone hearing about this for the first time, what exactly is Predict?
The easiest way to explain it is that it's a Telegram native prediction market application. Users can participate in markets based on future outcomes, whether that's sports, crypto, politics, entertainment, pretty much anything with uncertainty.
So instead of sitting on X arguing about who's going to win a match, people can actually take a position on it?
Exactly. That's what makes prediction markets interesting. Everyone has opinions, but prediction markets allow people to express those opinions in a market environment.
Every football tournament reminds me how confident people are. Everybody suddenly becomes an expert. Everybody knows who's winning and who's getting knocked out.
Until the match actually starts.
Exactly. That's why prediction markets are fascinating. It's easy to make predictions when nothing is attached to them. It's different when you're actually backing that prediction.
And that's one reason prediction markets have grown so much. They create a completely different level of engagement. People pay more attention, follow information more closely, and react to new developments.
But here's what caught my attention. Polymarket isn't new. Prediction markets aren't new. So why is Ston.fi talking about this? Why is this important for ton users?
That's where the story gets interesting. Historically, many prediction market platforms have lived outside the ton ecosystem. For a typical ton user, accessing these applications often meant leaving their environment completely.
And that's where crypto starts becoming complicated.
Exactly. Different wallets, different networks, different tokens, gas fees, bridges, a lot of extra steps.
Honestly, that's one of the biggest problems crypto still has. People talk about adoption, but then expect users to jump through 10 different hoops just to use one application.
And most people simply won't do that. That's the reality.
So where does Omniston come into all this? Because I noticed Omniston kept appearing throughout the article.
Because Omniston is what makes the experience feel simple. The user stays in a familiar environment, Telegram, a ton wallet, USDT on ton. But underneath the surface, Omniston is handling a lot of complexity.
Which is funny because users probably don't even realize what's happening.
That's usually a sign of good technology. If people spend all their time thinking about the infrastructure, something probably isn't working properly.
Nobody opens an app because they're excited about liquidity, routing, or cross-chain execution. They're there because they want a result.
Exactly. The user wants to participate in a prediction market, not spend 30 minutes figuring out how to get there.
You know what this reminds me of? The early internet. People used to care about technical details because everything was difficult. Today, nobody thinks about the technology behind sending a message.
That's a really good comparison. The best technology tends to disappear into the background.
And maybe that's what we're seeing here. When I read the article, it didn't feel like a story about prediction markets. It felt like a story about reducing friction.
I think that's exactly what it is. Prediction markets are simply the example. The bigger story is that ton users can access experiences that previously required a lot more effort.
Which brings us back to football. Let's be honest, that's probably how a lot of people will first discover something like Predict. They're watching matches, making predictions with friends, and now there's a platform in Telegram where they can interact directly.
And that's a powerful combination, because Telegram is already where many of those conversations happen.
That's true. People are debating results in Telegram groups every day.
Now, imagine moving from the conversation to the market without leaving the platform. That's a very different experience.
That's why I think this announcement matters more than people might realize. It looks like a simple integration, but it's an example of how Ston.fi and Omniston are making blockchain boundaries less visible to users.
Exactly. The user focuses on what they want to do. The infrastructure handles how it gets done.
And honestly, that might be one of the biggest challenges crypto still needs to solve. Not building more features, making existing features easier to access.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, Ricardo, I think that's a good place to wrap things up. Thanks for joining me today.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you all for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode of Ston Talk.